Hey guys again. Look how lovely and white it is out there. Looks pretty nice. Pretty cool. This is what I look like. Well, that's what I look like from. That's what I look like from behind, and this is what I look like from front. I haven't been to the gym for like probably something like 3 weeks or something. And I found out that the pain in my chest is actually due to a bit of my lungs bursting and releasing a bit of air into my chest, and so that bit of air is actually pressing down on my lungs, and so I had to stay in A&E actually overnight on Tuesday. So last week I recorded the video on Monday. Tuesday I just kind of, I don't know, I just did stuff. Tuesday I went and saw After Sun, and that was quite sad to see how the father had repressed a lot of his feelings towards his daughter, and that was actually just really sad because it seems like he wasn't really in a situation to be able to, provide for his daughter and really be with his daughter because he was depressed or something. But I don't know if I'm a man, I don't know as a man how you open up to your daughter about your own mental health problems. So that's quite a hard one, quite a sad one. And just in general, how would you do that? If you are younger. I guess the obvious answer is to not get to that point. It's to develop yourself and prepare yourself so that you don't have mental health issues. Or if you do, to be able to resolve them as quickly enough as you can. Going at your own pace and trusting yourself in that way. Giving yourself love. But just in general, yeah, that's quite a sad, it's quite a sad thing. That's what I took from it anyway. And then, I watched After Sun. Then went to the hospital. Then found out that they also took my blood, and they said that it was all good, which is cool. And they checked my heart rate and everything. They said that was all chill. Stayed overnight in the hospital. At one point they put the heart rate thing on me and it started beeping because I think my heart rate went up by 20 beats per minute. Beats per minute. It went up by that. I think it was 70 and then it was 90. Though I could be wrong on all of that. It was seen as healthy. And then the doctors very calmly after that occurred were like, Thomas, do you want any painkillers? And I was like, is anything up? It's so funny. I felt embarrassed about how this little alarm thing was going off as well. But then I thought about it, and the alarm thing was going off for other people, and I didn't, I wasn't thinking about them and going, oh my god, I can't believe their alarm's going off. But yeah. So then Wednesday, left at about 12. I had probably an hour's sleep in the hospital. Went and had a jacket potato with cheese and beans. And what else? What else occurred? My sleeping's kind of been a bit regular. I've essentially had 2 4-hour sleeps. So I have 4 hours at night, and then I sleep 4 hours during the day, and then just go on with the rest of the day. After, which has been maybe actually a bit more productive than I have been in the previous weeks. But just because it's been more productive doesn't mean it's very productive. I started reading more of my book, The Art of Loving. I'm actually going to try and finish that. I was reading a lot about like God, um, and yeah, the love of God and his concepts about that. Eric Fromm's, and how he's charting out the matriarchal and patriarchal versions of God, as well as the approaches to the knowledge of God or the knowledge of the love of God, um, through Eastern and Western um, looks. He neglects Islam though. He took primarily Christian and Jewish viewpoint. But he talks about the somewhat similarities between mysticism and kind of Eastern philosophy, and the great divide between like Aristotelian logic and what he called paradoxical logic, where Aristotelian logic says, A cannot also be not A, whereas more Eastern religions kind of say, oh no, A can be A and also not A, and how ultimately taking these two approaches, the Western religions lead you to be able to say, okay, well, if our language can kind of appropriately explain the world, or if two things can't be the same, different things at the same time, then we can create like comprehensive models of the world, which he also pointed out led to science as well, in that own sense as well. Because if you can create an accurate model of the world, you can then carry out like that. And that obviously isn't to say that like some people aren't scientific or anything, like you are from the East, but it's to say that like it's to say that was the primary like attitude, and obviously there were scientists, but they just, I don't know, slightly different in that sense. It's why we hear about the scientific method coming from Europe, but I suppose that could also be due to like colonialism and imperialism and shit. But it also might not be. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't know the answer to that. But I can see both sides. And also they could be both true, but just in different aspects. But yeah, whereas paradoxical logic kind of then focuses you to say, okay, well, you can't actually really define how the world is, because it can also be the opposite. So it's best to like focus on being able to live in the world, and to he points out that whereas Western religion kind of teaches you to be able to see God as though you're there, and you can see it perfectly. Eastern religion kind of tells you to experience God, which is more than just being able to create an accurate viewpoint or representation in vision or in mathematics or anything like this. One is kind of asking you to, I don't know, what's the difference between those, because one of them is just one experience, but just in perception. It's kind of confusing. I wonder what the difference really is when you think about it. Is it just that one uses less senses? One asks you to view the thing as separate to you, whereas the other asks you to take it as though it is a part of you. Perhaps that's the division. What it is you, maybe. Yeah, so I read that. Did some shit on Thursday, and then came back Friday, and I spoke, spoke to people in the hospital, just the usual stuff, and they said that the air bubble had decreased, so that was good. I was happy about that. So they then sent me away and said, come back on Monday, which is today, and it's about like 11 o'clock now ish, or probably like 10 to 11 now, or probably actually 5 to 11. And so I've got my appointment at 3, so I'll probably just make some food, read a bit more of The Art of Loving, see if I can, like, you know, get to the next chapter, and probably half of the next, like, chapter, and then I'll then, you know, then I'll then go off and go and get it checked up. Yeah, they said it's decreasing on its own, which I'm really happy by. I then, on, like, later that Friday, I then woke up on Saturday, booked a ticket to my house, and went home for the day, and then went out and hung out with my mates, back from home, and watched the World Cup, and watched England lose to France. So that's made me very depressed. It hasn't really, but it's fun to say it has, because it means that I'm, like, part of something, like part of the collective understanding of my country. What else happened? What else happened? Came back on Sunday. Yeah, I don't think I even didn't. I literally think I just came in Sunday, came into my room and just stayed in my room. I don't think I even went into the kitchen. Yeah, I don't think I even did, which is quite surprising. And so, yeah, so financially I still haven't got a job. Socially, it's been okay. It's been good fun. Spoke to a new girl, like a Christian, it was like a Christian choir thing. I think a lot of the girls were looking at me there. I'm not sure though. I mean, that could just be me being paranoid, because I'll get onto that as well. Yeah, there was a new girl who I think I was the way I'd like to be around everyone, where I was quite flirty. And the person who I've been spending quite a lot of time with at the moment, I was wondering if she would think that that's kind of quite flirty, but she kind of seemed okay with it. But I kind of want to be that way around everyone. I kind of just want to be, like, flirty and, like, fun and stuff like that. And I guess people just get used to that. Maybe I do tone it down, you know, if my significant other wanted me to, just out of respect for them. Yeah, but that'll be because there's a higher desire, and I choose that higher desire because it's just higher than the desire for me to communicate. And if the desire for me to communicate in a flirty way was higher, then ultimately I would choose that, because ultimately that's what my heart desires more. So yeah, but it was nice that, and it was cool to be that social and fun. Yeah, being back home and also having that lung thing happen, it made me think about, like, life, and, well, not life, the opposite, rather, death. It made me think about how, firstly, with my own death, and how, like, I forgot what I was thinking about. I think I was thinking about how people would react to my death. It has also got me thinking about, it also made me think about collectively the death of our generation, and how, you know, in 120 years or something, there probably won't be any more of my generation, and there'll be generations after us, generations after me, and they'll each think that they're significant and unique, and it's weird to think that I will just be one of the stepstones for the previous generation, like, for this generation. No, I'll be one of the stepstones for the future generations, just as everyone else behind me, all those literal, like, billions of people have been as steps, like, just literally just a stepstone towards the people existing right now. So that that made me feel quite sad, really, actually. Probably because I was just reminded about my insignificance on that level. I suppose I'm still significant because I'm still aiding the future generations, just like the previous ones have aided this one right now. What else? Yeah, so I thought about death. Also being home with my friends and also speaking to one of them. Just like responding to what they had to say. Kind of made me think about my friendship group and how I don't really... I don't know if I really connect with them. I've kind of just... I don't know if I connect with them. I don't think, honestly, that I do fully connect with them. I don't feel like I can fully, say something, and at the very least I don't feel like they can understand me. I know that if I say certain things around certain people, I know that regardless of what I say around some people, I think that they were taken in the way that I would want them to understand it. Whereas with my friendship, I don't think I have that. And I think that's a key thing about feeling that you're close to someone. To feel that they would understand you. And it isn't that they don't understand me. They understand me probably 70% of the time, but it's that 30% that bothers me. I don't know if that's something that I need to change. I don't know if that's something about them. I don't know if that's something that can be changed. I don't know if it's something that I have to put up with. I don't know if they're I can find other people that I jive with more in that way, that do understand me more. I don't know if I just keep them as friends, that I know just accept that, but then I don't know, it does feel sad. I don't know if it's just inside my own head and actually they do understand me. I'm just worrying about things that don't matter. I'm kind of confused about all of that, really. To be understood by others. I also don't want to feel like a burden as well. I don't know if I come to my friends and I give them a burden with some of the ways I think, or I don't know if I'm meant to open up to them the way I do, if it's too much, because I think it can be too much to open up to friends. I think definitely we as a society don't open up enough to our friends, but it's maybe also, I don't know, I think it's too simple to say, oh, we don't talk enough, or we don't open up enough, because it's well, why don't we open up enough? And could there be any counterpoints that it's actually well, here's an understanding why people don't, that's positive. That isn't just, oh, this thing occurred and that's the only reason why we don't. I don't know if I've been I'm a burden to my friends, that I'm offloading so much onto them. And I guess also that I'm not good at responding to others in just the same way. Sometimes my friends say something and I don't really know how to respond. Yeah. So maybe it's only fair. If they don't know how to respond to me, I don't know how to respond to them, and they don't know. If I don't know how to respond to them, they don't really know how to respond to me. I think I've just got to be more courageous and speak more from my heart, worry less about what they might say. And then if they're not, if we're not friends with the same values and the same attitudes towards things in life, then either we'll understand and we'll come to understand each other better, or I will just find, I guess, new people. Or different people, rather. Well, yeah, or different or new people. Whatever, you know. I think also, yeah, I think I am a little bit of a burden on some people. So I can understand, you know. I don't know. I think also probably I'm thinking too much about this in some situations, cases. And thinking about it too much leads me on to another thing that I was thinking about. Where I was thinking about how much pressure I put myself under to talk to girls and to act certain ways around certain people. Like, for instance, someone will come on the bus and I instantly feel myself seize up. And I'm thinking, right, okay, I have to maintain eye contact with them. Because that's like a goal I've set myself. It's to, you know, sort of get used to making eye contact with people. And I think that's maybe a good one to have, because obviously I need to have eye contact with, like, people who I'm interested in order for them to, like, well, not in order, but because it increases the likelihood that they will then, you know, want to hang out with me, because they'll see that I'm being myself around them. They can trust me more because I'm being more myself, which I suppose ties into the thing about my friends. But I think also, yeah, I do think I put myself under like a large amount of pressure, especially around women, like almost entirely around women, to act a certain way, to be a certain way, to hold myself in a certain way. I don't think there's a part of me that thinks that isn't healthy, and I should probably just chill the fuck out and just, like, you know, let things occur. It's almost kind of quite blue-pilled, where it's just like, oh no, don't worry about it, like, you know, the right partner will come, you just keep on doing you and everything will be alright. I kind of get that sense from the Tao Te Ching as well, but then, you know, it's only how I've interpreted it as well. But yeah, there's one part of me that says that, then there's the other part of me which says, no, look, you have to keep on getting better. If you don't get better, then you're going to keep on, like, you know, you're never going to be able to attract the right woman. You're never going to be able to be with who you really want to be with. And that kicks in and really stresses me out and goes like, okay, you know. Yeah, so that's annoying. I think that there is probably a way to utilise both, that they're not in conflict. And I think probably the conflict I have in my head, well, is literally those two conflicting. And I can think about it probably in a way which incorporates both, where neither essence is lost and both work towards a higher thing, or can occur because of a higher thing. But I think at the very least, like I was saying this like a couple of months, maybe even a couple of months ago. No, probably a month ago. I was saying this to someone. I was saying how I feel like I need a year to not say a single thing to anyone. Not push myself in any direction. Maybe, you know, like not as in like, rather not force myself to say anything to anyone. I feel like I need to have £1 million and I need to travel around the world for a year, just writing in my journal, only speaking to people when I feel like it, beyond fear, not forcing myself into anything, just to understand myself better in that way. Like, that's what I feel like I want. And being back home was actually really nice, because I saw everything and I was like, wow, you know, like I felt like I could probably escape back into, like, if I was home, I wouldn't be caught up in everything that's going around here. I wouldn't have so many people, you know, asking me to do so many things, and I wouldn't have so many things to do. But I think that's also very much a mistake to think, because it isn't that there are people here, like, it's that I say yes to the people that are here. And obviously, you know, if there was no one back at home, I don't have anyone to say yes to, but I would find people. I'd still have my sister, my dad, and then my nan, and then my mum, and then my mum's side, like, things, you know, like, the people you're connected to, they're always going to expand, and you can have bigger connections the more and more you go out. So I think, yeah, I don't know, I think again, it sounds like the same old, it's that I'm quite agreeable to myself. No, I'm quite agreeable to other people. Looking forward to getting back into the gym. I cancelled my Pure Gym membership, and I didn't even realise I could go to so many different I could actually go to so many different gyms in the UK, because I'd got like a £35 gym membership, which is ridiculous. But now I'm going to go to the gym that's literally like a 10-minute walk, and it isn't 24-hour, it's the Uni's gym, but it's £12 a month, so, you know, a little bit better. Though it is worse, but it's what you make of it again. There's enough equipment for me to do what I actually, like, there's enough equipment for me to grow the areas I want to grow. I just need to, you know, be given the all clear by the hospital, which is quite frustrating. I think also I've directed a lot of my time and attention into getting girls, because I don't have other things to invest in, like a business, or like sports, or like friends, maybe friends. I don't know about friends, but yeah. So it's kind of been, I don't know, because again, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, the only way that I can resolve this is by going MGTOW and not thinking about women, and, you know, kind of taking that route. But then, whenever I am out and about, I'm literally constantly thinking about how I appear to everyone. You know, you know, like, do I look good then? Like, so yeah. I think a lot of journaling, a lot of reading, a lot of just sitting in silence like that. Just listening is maybe good. Anyway, hope you've found this interesting in some way. Yeah, physically, haven't been going to the gym. Financially, haven't got a job. But I have started, actually. I've restarted saving my money and actually spending it properly, which is good. Socially, saw my friends, worried about how I come across to them. Yeah. Mentally, a little bit ashamed of myself that I am not fully where I want to be. need to address a couple of things. I do. But yeah. I think coming up in the new year, I need to kind of start anew and start spending a lot more time on my own. Just reflecting, just thinking, just coming in to understand who I am more. I also need to fucking work loads. But yeah, anyway, I don't know, I hope this has been interesting. It's a little bit less short, long as the previous one, but I'll see you guys in a bit, and I hope you guys have a nice day as well.